A blessed Sunday to you, my dear friends. Paring Bob once again, and welcome to my channel. If you want more videos like this, may invite everyone to subscribe my channel and hit the bell button for you to be notified for more videos. Friends, may I ask you to lend me some minutes of your time, reflecting together with me on the readings of the second Sunday of Easter. Let's get started. Tara! Welcome back, my dear friends. As I said, we are now on the second Sunday of Easter. Our gospel for today narrates on Jesus' appearance to his disciples a week after his resurrection. And his first greeting and his first gift to his disciples is the gift of peace. And therefore, Jesus in our gospel today is greeting his disciples, "Peace be with you." Shalom. This is the first point that I would like to reflect on together with you on Jesus' gift of peace. We are reminded that Jesus' resurrection brings about peace, not only for his disciples, but to all of us who believe in him. That we can only attain true and authentic peace together with Jesus. When Jesus is in our midst, peace is truly possible. For us who believe in him, we are invited, my dear friends, to also promote peace together with our brothers and sisters. Peace within our family circles, peace within our relatives and friends, peace with our office mates, and also peace within ourselves. In this time of pandemic, we are like the disciples. We too are fearful. We too are confused, and therefore we hide ourselves from the comforts of our houses. If we only rely on things that we can do and what the government can offer and what medical professionals can provide, we feel that we are insufficient. We feel that we are incapable of combating this pandemic that we are facing now. And if we feel that we are insufficient, it creates fear, it creates confusion, it creates chaos. And therefore, my dear friends, we rely so much on God's mercy. We rely so much on Jesus' intervention with what is happening nowadays. Because only through him that we can find consolation, hope, and peace. The second part of the gospel recounts on Thomas developing consciousness and faith in the risen Lord. Thomas declared, "Unless I see the mark of the nails of his hands, and put my finger into the nail marks, and put my hands into his side, I will not believe." I would say that it is developing or growing because perhaps Thomas is still on that level of consciousness, on that level of understanding, on that level of knowing Jesus, of believing Jesus. To see is to believe. For him, what is true and what is right are things that is sensible, or things that are tangible, accessible to his senses. And beyond that, everything is nothing. It reveals that Thomas is still on that level of faith, on that level of consciousness of knowing Jesus. Even with our study of psychology, it gives us a hint that we have different pacing, we have different levels of growth and maturity. There is psychosexual development, there is cognitive development, and there is also faith development. And this is what happened to Thomas. Thomas is still on the process of knowing Jesus more, developing his faith and knowledge of who Jesus is. Sometimes we brand Thomas as a doubting Thomas. But again, perhaps we need to understand our personal dynamics. our individual pacing in terms of growth and maturity. You know, in my younger years in the priesthood, I used to join in marathons. And every marathon that I join, I always think of beating my personal record. But most of the time, every race is a different record. My dear friends, I would like to reiterate that each person has its own cadence, has its own pacing, has its own speed in terms of maturity and consciousness, and we have to respect it. Now, let us try to shift our focus on the risen Lord. Look at the reaction of Jesus. Jesus did not condemn this doubting Thomas. In fact, he even gave and offer his hands, because this is what Thomas needs. God respect the quality and the maturity of the faith of Thomas. He did not despise Thomas. He did not reject Thomas, but more so, he embraced and allowed himself to be examined by Thomas, because that is what Thomas needs, for him to nourish and to deepen his knowledge of this risen Lord. Today, my dear friends, we also celebrate the Divine Mercy Sunday. And mercy here in our gospel today is translated with this attitude of Jesus. A God who did not reject, a God who did not judge the quality of faith that we have. And therefore, we too are invited to slow in judging people, to suspend our judgment, and to respect each individual's maturity, each individual's pacing, each individual's cadence. We should not compare among ourselves that I am better than the other person, or our community is better than the rest. We have to respect our individuality. We have to respect our uniqueness, so that mercy is truly concretized and lived out in our day-to-day living. Lastly, I would like to highlight the last part of the gospel, because this too is equally very important. It says here, "Now Jesus did many other signs in the presence of his disciples that are not written in this book. But these are written that you may come to believe that Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of God, and that through this belief you may have life in his name." My dear friends, it suggests that the Bible is not written as a chronological record of history. It is written for the purpose of nourishing the faith of the community, and at the same time to preserve the memory of Jesus, for us to believe, and by believing on him, we might inherit life eternal. Amen.